Good morning and welcome to the new My Teaching Strategies platform. So this will just be a quick overview since we haven't had our formal training. So I'll just be showing you all the quickly showing you all the features that we need to be using in the meantime until we have our formal training. So once you enter the web address up top, it'll bring you to this page. Here's where you'll sign in and you'll enter your username and password as you normally would, and then it'll bring you here to your dashboard. So this is where you'll see everything that you'll need access to in My Teaching Strategies. So just to quickly give you a overview of the dashboard, Teach is where you'll enter your lesson plans. Assess is where you'll enter your documentation. And I'll just be going through those two, and the rest of those will give you more in-depth knowledge at your training. So oh, and then add documentation, view documentation. This is where you'll do your checkpoint and documentation status. So these are your quick links to the most, so that you'll be able to quickly enter your documentation. Over here says what's happening today. It gives you your date. Individual child plans will show here. So if you have something entered for individual child, it'll show under this tab, and then it'll basically here show you all of your the lesson plan that you have today. And then you can select to see your whole day, and it'll bring you to a new screen that'll have everything laid out. But to enter your documentation, you'll select here, Add Documentation, or again, you can select the Assess tab, which is here. Here you'll see Add Documentation, View Documentation, On the Spot Documentation, and then again your checkpoint tabs here. So you want all of the children in your program will be listed here. To select one, you'll just click their name and it'll turn blue once a child has been selected. And then you have this nice documentation summary box over here. You'll see the child's name that you selected, the date observed. So once you enter a date, it'll show up here. Notes. So this is where you'll enter what you have observed on the children. And whatever you enter will also show up here under your documentation summary. If you would like to add a photo or video, you simply select Add File as you did on the old platform, and your camera roll photos will show up. You'll select the photo or video that you want to add and upload it. To assign the objectives and dimensions, you click here. On this left-hand side, it's listing all of the available objectives that Teaching Strategies offer. However, we are only assessing on our 6 that we've been doing: social, emotional, physical, language, cognitive, literacy, and mathematics. Here you'll see the objectives. So you'll select whatever objective you have entered notes about here. If you need to use another domain, you'll select back over here on your in the left column, and it'll bring up the objectives for that domain. So you'll select, and then your objectives and dimensions are showing up over here in your documentation summary box. Once you have selected all the objectives and dimensions, you'll select Save and Continue, and it's still the same rule that you're selecting a max of 5 objectives and dimensions for each piece of documentation. You don't want more than 5. So this is 3, but you can select up to 5. You'll select Save and Continue here, and then it'll automatically bring you to your colored bands. So here you'll see the domain, and here you'll see the objective that you're selecting the levels on. You'll see your child's name or children's name here, and you'll select the different levels. So if the child is beyond a level 1, 2, you have to select up here, and it'll just slide down to the objectives that you it'll navigate itself to the different levels that you can choose. So once you select a level, you'll select next, and then it'll bring you to the next objective and dimension that you selected. And again, it's listed here. You'll select the level, select next, and I selected 3, remember, so it's going to take me through all 3. Select it again, and next is now not an option. If you need to go back, you can select previous, but once you have it, you can save and close, and it'll take you out. But I want to show you how to show examples for each objective. So whatever level you're on, it'll show you the examples for that level. If you want to hide it, you just select it again and it'll go back, it'll go away. To hide or show the colored bands, you just select over here, and both of those options are over on the left hand side of the screen. So once you have selected your levels, you'll select save and close, and it'll give you this awesome success message. You've added some documentation. Way to go. And I don't think that it'll show you this all the time, but since everyone is new to the platform, it's just giving you some encouragement to keep going. So should you want to add another documentation, you'll select add, but you can select view, which is also available up here in your tab bar. So what this is showing you is the child's name, the date that the assessment was taken, the objectives and dimensions that you selected, and the rating or level that you gave them. And then here's the note that you entered. Here you'll see the date it was entered and who it was entered by. So if you have an assistant and they enter a piece of documentation, it'll either have your name or their name listed here. Your documentation summary box is over here again with the child or children's name, the date observed, the notes. If you have a file attached, it'll say 1 or however many you have attached, it'll show that number. And then it is showing you the objectives and dimensions that you selected. The green check mark showed here over the rainbow means that you've selected the level or the rating already. So should you want to edit the documentation, you'll select edit documentation. You can edit notes or do whatever you may need. Upload a file if you forgot. Select or deselect objectives and dimensions. And then once you've done that, you'll select save and continue. And then it'll bring you back to your colored bands should you need to edit those. You can select next if you need to make any edits to the levels that you selected. Otherwise, you'll select save and close again. And then we're going to go back to view documentation so that I can show you some other things. Should you want to delete a piece of documentation, you'll select delete documentation. It'll ask you if you're sure and you'll say yes. And that's that. But I don't want to delete it just yet. So that is the quick way to enter the quick way to show you how to enter documentation. It's very simple, and I think that this the platform isn't hard to figure out, but it is a little different. So just take your time, and once you're familiar with it, I think that you all will like it.